Okay. So this evening's class is sequenced on our sacral chakra. So I know for those of you that have practiced with me before at the gym, when you've been to one of my classes, we've done some chakra work, only a little bit, not a huge amount. So we've probably done the root chakra before in class. Today we're going to be looking at our sacral chakra, so it's the next one up along the spine. So it's orange in colour, so you might have seen the figure or the person sitting in lotus pose with the colours going along the spine. And just to quickly recap for those of you that are new to working with the chakras, the energy centres, it's a Sanskrit word and it just means wheel or vortex. And it's where our yin and our yang energy cross over along the length of the spine. And that's where we've got our big energy centres. So they're formed from birth throughout our early years, and we can start to get blockages and imbalances in our chakras depending what happens throughout our lives, if we've experienced any form of trauma or anything like that. So it can start to create an imbalance. So it's quite nice to work with the energy centers. It can be powerful. People have different reactions when we're working with the energy centers, and you might not get any reaction. You might be sitting there thinking it's a load of nonsense, and that's fine. So for our meditation, we are going to do something a little different. We're going to do a visualization. So usually we'll use a mantra, or we might just use the light, the color of the chakra. So it's going to be maybe a little bit more intense. It depends how, what your meditation practice is like, if you already have one anyway. If you're fairly new to meditation, then it could be quite challenging maybe for you to get into it this evening. So we'll just see how we get on. So we're going to start laying down. So just get yourself comfortable. Lay yourself on your mat or whatever it is that you're using this evening. If you're wearing shorts and t-shirt or short sleeves and the house is quite cool, I would probably recommend you put a blanket over yourself or a jumper, or just so you've got another layer, because your body temperature might drop a little whilst we're in the meditation. So the meditation is going to be a little longer than what we usually do. And that's only because it is a visualization, so it can be much stronger, and I don't want to rush it. So when we start to ease out of the meditation, we want it to be gentle and not sudden. So just lay yourself down, make yourself as comfortable as you can, and then just closing your eyes. So rest the arms wherever feels comfortable for you to rest them. And just allow the body to completely relax and let go as much as possible. So just doing a brief body scan, just seeing if there's any areas of tension or tightness. And just directing the breath to those areas, so trying to relax the body completely. And begin to slow the breath down. Relax the forehead, relax the jaw, maybe wriggle the jaw from side to side, just release any tension from the face. And bring your focus onto your breath. So the element that's associated with the sacral chakra is water, and it's about movement. So we're going to incorporate the water element into our meditation this evening. If for whatever reason, if you do feel triggered or it feels too strong for you, this meditation, you're welcome to bring yourself out of it, to open your eyes, just to remind yourself that you're in a safe space. So just start to deepen the breath now. So take the breath down into the belly first if you can. So really expanding the belly. And then bring the breath up into the chest. And slowly exhale, just allowing the belly to sink back down towards the mat. And allow the chest to become heavy. Nice big breath in. Going as slow as you can, trying to make the inhalation and the exhalation equal lengths. And then just slowly start to exhale. Squeezing out the stale air from the lungs. And again, big breath in. Taking it all the way down into the belly and then filling the lungs right the way up as much as you can. And slowly begin to exhale. So you're going to start to shift your awareness to the sacral chakra, so just above the pubic bone, to the lower part of the stomach. So just becoming aware of the energy there in that part of the body. And just trying to connect to that center. And keeping your eyes closed, you're going to start to imagine yourself getting up from your mat or your chair and slowly walking out of the room that you're in, out of the building that you're in. Slowly walking down the street until you come to a park. And you just start to walk across the park, passing the flowers, the trees, and you see an opening between two trees. Just begin to follow the footpath, looking at all the different types of trees and the smell. You can hear the birds singing, and you can see the sun just peeping between the branches. And just in the distance, you start to see an opening. And as you keep following the footpath, you walk out, and in front of you is a lake. And the water is calm and still and clear. And around the edge of the lake is just a scatter of trees and plants and flowers. You start to walk closer towards the lake, walking across the smooth stones. Feeling the water on your feet, on your toes. And you're feeling comfortable and relaxed and calm and peaceful. So you walk deeper and deeper out into the lake until you start to float on your back. So you're just allowing the water to hold you and support you, feeling weightless. And you're looking up at the sky, and the sun is shining, the sky is blue. And you're feeling a deep sense of peace. And as you're floating in the lake on your back, with the sun shining down, small ball of orange starts to form in the lower part of your stomach, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra. And the more you relax and allow the water to hold and support you, and with each exhalation, the little orange light starts to grow bigger and brighter, until it starts to cover the whole of your body and starts to spread out into the water and out towards the trees. Feeling calm and peaceful and relaxed. You start to notice that the sun is slowly starting to go down, so you make your way back to the shore, walking out of the lake, across the smooth stones, through the trees, following the footpath right the way back to the park. And then coming back down the street, back into the building, and back on your mat. And just begin to deepen your breath. Becoming aware of your surroundings, becoming aware of the room that you're in. And when you're ready, just slowly opening your eyes. I'm just going to give you a second just to come round from the meditation. So you can stay laying. We're going to start the class laying down. So I'm just going to move on to my mat. So you're going to take your feet so that they're wide, so the feet are going mat distance apart, keeping the knees bent, and we're just going to window wipe the legs from side to side. So just slowly dropping the knees from right to left, left to right. So releasing off through the hips. And then when you're next on the right side, you're going to stay on the right. So just staying here for a second, allowing the left hip to open. And if you want to go stronger, if you want to make the stretch deeper in the left hip, you can just place your right heel on top of the left thigh, just above the knee. So the right foot just comes on top of the leg, and you're just allowing that foot, the weight of it, to pull it down towards the ground. And if this is too strong, just bring your foot back down to the mat. Back to the first option if you prefer. And then release the foot, so if you've got it hooked, bring the knees back up to centre, and then exhale, drop the knees over towards the left side. So again, you can stay here, or if you want to, you can place the left heel on top of the right thigh. So again, just above the knee. And then release the foot back down. Bring the knees back to centre. We're just going to do figure of four stretch. So place your right ankle just above the left knee. So both knees are bent, feet on the floor. And you're placing your right ankle above the left knee. So make sure you're pushing the right knee back and you're flexing the toes on the right foot. So you're flexing the toes towards the shin. Either keep the left foot on the floor if this is already strong stretch for you, or maybe hold around the back of the left thigh, or option to hold around the shin if you want to go a little stronger. So just pulling those legs towards the chest. So we're opening up the right hip and the right glute. So just holding here, breathe, trying to relax as much as you can into it. Maybe if you want to, just roll in the left foot around in a circle, so going in one direction and then the other direction. Just holding for a few more breaths here. And then slowly release the feet back down towards the floor. This time you're going to place the left ankle above the right knee. Again, just pushing that left knee back, flex the toes of the left foot. Either walk the right foot in or take hold of the back of the thigh, or again, hold around the shin if you want a strong stretch. And then maybe rolling the right foot around in one direction and then changing direction. And then release feet back down. So you're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, holding just below both knees, and start to pull the knees down towards the armpits. So you're pulling the knees away from the rib cage, down towards the armpits, really squeezing them in. So again, we're working into the hips. And then you're going to bend your knees so that the shin is straight and the soles of the feet are facing the ceiling. coming into happy baby. So you can either hold around the big toe or hold around the outside edges of the feet, the inside, or just hold the legs if that's where you're at today. So going with whatever option you're able to this evening, keep pulling those knees down into the armpits. So you're really opening up through those hips. At the same time, you want to make sure that you're very gently pressing the lower back into the mat and that the hips are not lifting away too far from the ground. So just gently press the lower back in and then maybe start to rock from side to side. So just massaging the back, going right the way over. And then bring yourself back to center. Release the toes or the feet, whatever you've got hold of. Just bring the knees in towards the chest. Hold around the backs of the thighs, maybe cross the ankles, and just start to rock yourself up and down along the spine. So we're just taking a few rolls here, rolling up and down, and then you're going to come all the way up to seated when you're ready to. So bring the soles of the feet together. And let's come into Baddha Konasana. So bring them nice and close to the body. Hold around the feet. Option to just stay here if you want to. Option to just gently exhale, fold forwards, and bring the elbows onto the insides of the calf. So you're pressing the elbows into the legs a little, just to deepen that stretch. Keep the elbows where they are, keep the arms where they are. So don't allow the arms to move. You're going to start to press the legs into the arms. So press them as much as you can, as though you're trying to lift the knees up away from the floor. But try and not allow them to move. So keep pressing those elbows down, but keep pushing the knees up. And then slowly release. Take another breath in through the nose. And as you exhale again, folding forwards, press those elbows into the calves. And maybe you're able to go a little deeper into the stretch. And then release the legs, maybe straighten them out, maybe have a roll around of the hips if you need to, if that felt quite strong. Take the legs nice and wide when you're ready. So flex the toes towards the shins, hands are on the floor. Exhale, start to walk the hands forward. So this is one option. Just relax the head and neck. If you want to go stronger and you want more of an active stretch, you can hold onto the toes or the feet. So you decide where you're going with the stretch this evening. Just holding for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, bring yourself back up to center from whatever variation you're in, bringing the legs together. So we're going to do a yin pose, square. Some of you have done this with me before in class. So our left leg is forwards, the shimmy is nice and straight. So the ankle is in line with the knee. We're going to take our right leg and we're going to place our right ankle on top of the left knee, if we can, or as close as. So bringing the ankle right up onto the knee and just really grounding down through the right sit bone. To make sure that the hip isn't lifted up like this, you're really pressing down through that hip and that sit bone. So if you want to go stronger in this, move your right foot towards the left more. So maybe it might make it stronger for you, depending on your hips. If it's too strong, you can just slide the foot down the leg a bit and back out the stretch. And if you need support under this leg, then grab cushions or whatever you've got to hand at home. So we're just holding here and we're just breathing. So if your leg's high, you can support it. I can already imagine what your leg looks like right now, Helen, because yours is probably right way down here, because your hips are quite open. So we're just holding here and breathing for a couple of breaths. So I've mentioned this before in class, I'm sure. We usually hold the in pose for 5 to 7 minutes. We're just going to hold it for a few breaths this evening. And hopefully just allowing gravity to do the work. And with time, your muscles will start to release. The fascia, the connective tissue will start to release, and maybe this leg will start to come closer and closer down towards the ground. And then release the leg. Let's come on to the other side. So this time, the right shin is down on the mat, so the ankle is in line with the knee. Shin is straight, and then we're placing the left ankle on top of the right knee. Again, really pressing the left sit bone and hip down into the mat. And just holding here, so observing how it feels on this side compared to the other. Remembering you can play around with the position of this leg if you need to, if you want a strong stretch. So just a few more breaths on this side. And then release the leg down. So you're going to turn yourself side on so you're facing the long edge of the mat. Well, you might not need to do this if you've got the space to do it as you are, and if you're on carpet, if you're not on wooden floor, then it's fine. It'll be fine for your knees to come off. We're going to come into frog pose. So we're taking the knees nice and wide. So if you come onto your hands and knees, and then start to take the knees out as wide as you can, and turn the feet so the feet are pointing outwards like frog's legs. So lower yourself down to a relatively comfortable position, either staying on your hands or dropping to your forearms. And then maybe, if you're not getting much of a stretch, just take the hips back slightly. So if the knees came in, if you were right up on your knees, the hips would be stacked over the knees. So we're not sitting the hips back towards the heels, we're not shifting all the way forwards, we're keeping the hips upright, if that makes sense. So we're just opening up again into the hips and the insides of the thighs. So just hold in here and breathe. Just a couple more breaths. And then coming back onto your hands. Taking your time to bring those legs in. You might feel a little stiff in the hips. Maybe send the hips back towards the heels. Just having a wriggle around, releasing off. And then we're going to come to downward facing dog. So if you turn yourself, come so that you're facing the top of the mat again. So wrists under shoulders, tuck the toes and send the hips up nice and high. The feet are hip distance apart. Just have a little pedal out through the heels, push one heel down and then the other. Keep pressing the chest towards the thighs, keep the hips high. Head is relaxed and you're taking the gaze back between the legs. Stretching out through the back, releasing the calves and the Achilles. And then just come to find stillness in your down dog. You're going to inhale and extend your right leg up nice and high, going into three-legged dog. Bend the knee so you're drawing the heel towards the floor. And just lift that knee up as high as you can. So you're really opening up that hip. Level off the hips. And then you're going to step the right foot between the hands, coming into a lunge. So if you need to help the foot forwards, then drop the left knee and help that foot forwards. And then lower the back knee down. So option to stay here, option to bend your back knee and see if you can take hold of the foot. If this doesn't work for you, you can just bring the hands down to the floor. Just glance down at this front foot and make sure that the knee isn't overcutting the ankle. So if it is, just bring the foot forwards a little. And if you've got hold of the foot, just keep squeezing that heel in towards the bum. So you're getting a nice strong stretch in the left hip and down the front of the left thigh. Release the foot, so if you've got hold of it, bring the hands down to the floor. You're going to come straight into pigeon from here. So just bring your foot over towards the left slightly, so you're walking it across, and then bring the shin and the knee down to the floor. Nice, well done. And then either staying high on the hands to make sure that the hips are level. So just try and feel where those hips are in space. If you're really sinking into the right side quite a lot, if you are, just shift the weight to the left slightly. And then if you feel good, maybe dropping down onto those forearms, relax the head, maybe placing the forehead down onto the hands. Slowly lift the head, pushing back up onto the hands if you lowered yourself all the way down. Tuck the toes on the back leg, lift that knee, and come back to downward facing dog. So maybe just have a little walk out through the legs again. And then we're going to inhale and extend the left leg this time. Bend the knee, draw the heel towards the bum and start to lift that knee up as high as you can. So really open up through that hip. Level off the hips. And as you exhale, step the foot between the hands. Again, help it forwards if you need to, and drop that back knee down. So maybe stay here with the hands down, open the hands to the thigh, or if you're okay to, bend that back leg, take hold of the foot, and just gently pull the heel towards the bum. Release the foot, so if you've got hold of it, bring the hands down. So again, we're going to walk the foot towards the right side, and then drop the knee and the shin down. So check where the hips are, and then if you're ready to, if you want to come down onto the forearms or lower yourself all the way down, feel free to do so. Take your time to bring yourself back up onto your hands. Tuck the toes again on the back leg, and when you're ready, come back to downward facing dog. So maybe have a pedal out, release off through the hips, and then you're going to drop the knees down towards the floor. So we're coming into tabletop position. So bring the knees all the way down. Big toes are going to come together, and you're going to take the knees out wide. So stay up on the hands. So knees are coming out to the edges and our big toes are together. We're going to inhale to drop the hips forward, coming into a hanging cobra. So the hips are sinking down, the chest is lifted, gaze is lifted, and the feet lift away from the floor. And as we exhale, we're going to push back into a wide leg child's pose. Bring the forehead down to the floor. Inhale, lift the head, shift the weight forwards, drop the hips down towards the floor, lift the gaze, lift the chest. Exhale, slowly push back, wide leg child's pose. We're just going to do one more of those. Inhale, shift the weight forwards, drop the hips down. And exhale, push back, wide leg child's pose. We're going to stay here in our child's pose. So just bringing the head all the way down. Taking some deep breaths here. Inhale, lift the head, bring yourself back up to tabletop, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Just slowly walk the feet towards the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. To keep the knees soft if you need to, we're going to hook onto the big toes with the index finger, middle finger and thumb. So really wrapping the thumb around that big toe. Inhale to lift the gaze. Exhale to fold forward. So really pulling on those toes, take the elbows out to the side. Relax the head. Trying to sandwich the belly to the thighs and the face to the shins. So keep lifting those hips up nice and high. Inhale to lift the gaze. Exhale, slide to the palms of the hands underneath the soles of the feet, trying to get the toes to the wrist crease. So if you need to bend the knees a lot, then feel free. Exhale to fold forwards. Slowly release the hands from underneath the feet. And we're going to take our time to roll up, to come to stand, so coming all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling the shoulders back and down, away from the ears. So feet together if it's comfortable. We're going to come into dance pose. So we did this, was it last week or the other week? It's quite a fun one to do. So we'll see if we've improved at all since we last did it. So shift the weight into the left foot, find something to focus on. You're going to turn the palm of the right hand out and you're going to lift the right foot and catch hold of the inside of the foot. Extend the left hand by the ear, take a big breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to start to kick the foot into the hand and start to lift the knee as high as you can. To slowly start to bring that chest forwards. To keep kicking the foot and keep lifting that knee nice and high. The harder you kick, the higher you lift the knee, and the more you try and stretch forwards with that hand, the easier it's supposed to be. So if you fall out, go straight back in. Try and kick a little harder. Focus on your breath. Take your time. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up to stand. Shift the weight into the right foot. Again, find something to focus on. Turn the palm of the left hand out and pick up the left foot. So take hold of the inside of the foot. Extend the right arm by the ear. Take a big breath in. Exhale, start to kick the left foot and lift that knee nice and high. So take your time, bringing the chest forwards. Trying to touch the front of the room with the fingertips and the back of the room with that foot. If you fall out, go straight back in. And remember not to rush it, so take your time with this. Really kick that foot as hard as you can. Hold in for a couple more breaths. And slowly release. Release the leg back down. Well done. So we're going to come back into downward facing dog. Just folding forwards and step the feet back to down dog. Just take a moment here. And then you're going to step the right foot between the hands. So coming into a lunge. position. Nice. So just stay in here for a second. See if you can push the back heel away. So wriggle those toes down towards the back of the mat a bit more. I'm really trying to straighten that leg as much as you can, opening up the left hip. So just hold in here and breathe. And then slowly dropping the left knee down to the floor and tuck the toes. Both hands come onto the inside of the right foot. Just take the foot out to the side slightly. We're just creating some space. Bring the right hand to the thigh and just roll onto the blade of the right foot, so opening up that hip. As you do that, just see if you can sink the left hip down a little. So again, trying to get a stretch on that left hip. Bring the leg back to centre. Hand comes to the floor. Maybe walk the hands forward if you need to. You're going to come down into lizard. So drop both elbows down to the floor. Keep squeezing the right knee in towards the body so that it's not going out too far. Push yourself back up onto your hands. Walk the foot back into centre. And we're just going to start to send hips back. So start to straighten the front leg, walk the hands back. Flex the toes towards the shin, so lift the toes away from the mat. Either stay here if you're getting a stretch, or maybe just fold in slightly into that leg. Lift the head, walk the hands forwards, coming back into lunge. And maybe just bring the hands onto the thighs, so you're sinking the left hip down. Just a couple of breaths here. And then bringing the hands back down again, shifting the hips back, straighten that front leg out. Stretching the back of that leg, maybe folding forward if you want a stronger stretch. So you've got the option to stay here in your half split if you want to, or you've got the option to see if you can start to wriggle that front foot forwards, coming into a split. So if you have got a wooden floor, it's easier with socks on because your feet can just slide. So coming into whatever variation that you're in, if you can't come all the way down and say, you know, you're on your fingertips, but it's a little strong. If you've got yoga blocks at home, you can put blocks underneath your hands and use them to press into. Makes it a little easier. It just backs off the stretch a little. You can use those if you want to. So you're either in your half split or your attempted full split. And if you're all the way down and you're quite comfortable, just try and square off the hips a little and bring your body up to centre. So make sure you're not leaning forwards. And then whatever variation you're in, we're all going to just ease out. So swinging the leg back if the leg is forwards in full splits. And just coming into a very brief child's pose. So just take the hips back, relax the head. Maybe just wriggle from side to side. So just to release off through those hips. And then bring yourself back to downward facing dog when you're ready. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up nice and high. Just take a moment here. And then we're going to step our left foot forwards this time. So coming into a lunge, keep the back knee lifted for a second. So keep trying to Wriggle the toes further down the mat, really pushing that heel away, trying to get the right leg as straight as you can, and sinking the right hip down a little. So just enjoying the stretch on this side. And then release the knee down to the floor. Both hands come onto the inside of the foot. Just take the left foot out to the side slightly, create space. And then bring the left hand to the thigh and just roll the knee away. So you're coming onto the blade of the foot. At the same time, maybe see if you can sink the right hip down a little. And then bring the leg back to center. Both hands are on the inside of the foot. Maybe walk them forward slightly and drop the elbows down into lizard. Push yourself back up onto your hands. Bring that foot back into center and start to send the hips back. Straighten that front leg, flex the toes towards the shin. Maybe stay high or fold forwards. Walk the hands forwards. Bring the hands onto the thigh, coming into your lunge, so sinking the right hip down. So we're going to go over by a few minutes. We started a few minutes late, so I hope that's okay. But if you need to log off on time, feel free. But we're almost at the end. Just keep sinking the hip down. And then again, bring the hands to the floor, coming back into your half split. Straighten that leg out, flex the toes towards the shin. So either stay here or start to wriggle that foot forwards, coming into your full split. Sorry, that was my foot. Very loud. So again, use your yoga blocks if you need them underneath your hands. And if you're all the way down and you're comfortable, just check where the hips are, square them off as much as you can. Bring yourself so that your spine is nice and straight in the centre and you're not leaning forwards too much. And we're just holding here and breathe. Just a couple more breaths in whatever variation you're in. And then we're all going to bring ourselves into our child's pose, just very briefly. So sit the hips back onto the heels, have a wriggle from side to side, just releasing off through those hips. And then when you're ready, you're going to come to lay down on your back. So we're just going to finish with our twist. So coming all the way down onto your back, just bringing the knees in towards the chest. And then you're going to drop both of your knees over towards the left side. So we're going to keep the legs together just to give the hips a bit of a break. So dropping the knees over towards the left, making sure that the right shoulder blade doesn't start to lift. Extend the arms out at shoulder height. If it feels comfortable, turning the head towards the right side. Taking a few breaths here. And then untwist, bring yourself back to center when you're ready to. Then you're going to take your knees all the way over to the opposite side. So make sure the left shoulder blade doesn't lift. And turning the head towards the left. And then untwisting, bringing yourself all the way back to center, and we're just going to come into our Shavasana. So we're just going to take a 2-minute Shavasana. If you're feeling it a little in your hips, then maybe you want to come into a constructive rest. So bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor, feet are mat distance apart and the legs are collapsing in towards each other. Or if you want to, you can come into a yin butterfly. So you can bring the soles of the feet together so the knees drop out. It's quite strong in the hips, but if you're feeling good, maybe that's what you want to go for. So arms by the sides of the body, palms facing up. And then just closing the eyes, tucking the chin slightly, lengthen the back of the neck. And just bringing your focus back onto your breath. So allow the body to completely melt and let go into the ground. Just slowly start to wriggle your fingers and toes. Just start to bring some movement back into your body. Maybe taking a full body stretch, or bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a gentle hug. And then you're just going to roll onto your side, coming into the fetal position. So just taking a moment here, maybe sighing the breath out through the mouth. And then ease yourself back up to seated when you're ready. So just go nice and slow, avoiding any head rush. And then bringing the hands together in front of the heart center. Gently bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you both.